Honestly, we live in a day and age where people must be oblivious to the world around them. People aren't taking notice of the other people that exist or objects and the setting, how people are feeling. And what I'm trying to get at is like nobody gives a shit anymore. People have no regard for anyone else around them. See, I work at a restaurant and I see all kinds of different people every day, all day. And one thing I'm starting to see more often is people who don't care if other people don't want to hear what they're listening to. And I'm not just talking about music, I'm talking about like TikTok and YouTube videos as well. I'm sure everyone is aware of the iPad kid problem or the tablet kid problem, whatever you want to say. There's the thing going around where there are a bunch of children like 10 years and younger. Like, I'm talking as young as 3 years old, who are perpetually glued to an iPad or a tablet or a phone, even when they have no business being on a phone or tablet or an iPad, whatever. I have been watching YouTube for years, and I would say that's long enough to know that there are a lot of things on there kids don't need to be watching. There are a lot of things on TikTok kids don't need to be watching. And they're doing this with no supervision whatsoever. And that is on top of the fact that these iPad kids come into restaurants like the one I work in, have no headphones, and still listen to whatever music or videos they want to listen to. Like, it's not a problem. Like, they don't care if other people don't want to hear it. And it's ridiculous. There's this one uh, family that comes in quite often. Two like really old looking people, but they have to be like meth heads or something because they are raisined up, like they look fucked up. All right, and they always come in with this little girl, which I can only assume is their granddaughter, and she has to be like 5 or 6, and she's always listening to Katy Perry, super loud. It's shitty white girl pop music. But they listen to that on full blast, and no one says anything. Everybody just kind of like stares, like, "Are you serious?" And no one's doing anything about it. And the grandparents, like I'm saying, I'm assuming they're grandparents, aren't doing anything about it. They do not see it as a problem. And the reason why is because doing that shuts the kid up. Now, those are grandparents, but I see it all the time with parents who bring their kids in and they have like this fucking big ass tablet. All right, and they have like a stand on the back of the tablet so that way they could prop the tablet up and watch whatever they're watching while eating. And they cannot eat without watching something. It is like a fucking like it's almost like a parasite. Like if it's not there, they just won't function anymore or something. I don't know how to explain it, but it's like they're sitting there and they're watching whatever, and the parents are talking to each other like normal people, but the kid is just it's ridiculous. So I don't know. It's just weird for me because when I was growing up, even though tablets and smartphones were coming out, right? Like the smartphone came out like right before I was in kindergarten or right after, something like that. But still, it was like I didn't have that growing up. When I was growing up, I wasn't allowed to, like have a phone or a tablet. You know what I mean? I was supposed to interact with the family, talk to people, look around, imagine, draw on the kids menu or something. Like I've gone to so many restaurants where they don't even do that anymore. They just got rid of that because kids don't draw, kids don't play, they don't ask questions or look around and mommy what's that or just talk about the random bullshit that's going on in school, whatever. They don't do none of that because they're too busy watching TikTok or YouTube. And I don't want to sound like an old fart, like an old boomer talking about all the kids these days, but it's really gotten bad. I don't know how these kids are going to function in the world. I mean, like, how are you going to go to work if you can't have Subway Surfers playing at all the time, how are you going to be able to focus on your teachers in school? What happened to interaction? What happened to human interaction? It's almost like parents don't want to deal with being parents anymore. So they're like, here, shut up and sit down in front of a screen. Now, I'm not saying that's a new thing. People have been doing that, or parents, I should say. Parents have been doing that since television was big. I mean, PBS Kids, Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon. Sit down and watch some SpongeBob and leave me alone. That was a thing before, but with TV, you can't take the TV everywhere. So when you're out in public, you're going out to eat or in a grocery store, you don't have that. You have to use your imagination. You have to pretend. You have to, look around, see things you never saw before. But it's not like that anymore. I guess it's kind of sad. I don't, and I'm not sad for myself. I feel bad for the iPad kids because, I mean, now that I'm an adult, I can go to all my other adult friends and say, "You remember back in the day when we did such and such and da da da." And they'll all relate. You know what I mean? My friends relate to playing in the woods and playing army with stick guns and pine cone grenades, and they relate to the fucking hug barrels and the Kool-Aid jammers and Capri Suns and Danimals. They relate to all that stuff. What are they going to be relating to? You guys remember when that Ice Show Speed video came out? Like what the fuck? That's so lame, dude.